Hello! Welcome back everybody for another Pokemon Challenge Run video. Today I'll be seeing if it's possible to beat Pokemon Emerald with just a single Torchic. The rules. I'm only allowed to use one single Torchic in any battle to attack. I'm not allowed to use any items in battle. I am however allowed to have other mons for HMs. So let's get this started. So we start off in the back of a moving truck, like normal. I name myself KTT, I grab my starter, which I use to save Professor Birch from a wild Zigzagoon chasing him around, and head on out for my journey. After getting a few more levels, we take on May and easily knock out her Mudkip. This Mudkip will definitely be a big problem for us later on. After that, we head over to Petalburg to talk to our dad, Norman, the 5th gym leader. Wally then shows up and teaches us how to catch Pokemon. As if I don't already have way too many hours on this game. Just look at my Switch hours alone, that's not including anything else. We make our way through a Team Rocket grunt and onto our first real challenge of the video, Roxanne. This was going to be an absolute challenge. As you can see, I tried to take her on at level 14 and failed miserably. I didn't even take out a single Geodude. So I came back after leveling up a few times to level 19 and managed to make some progress taking out a Geodude and doing a good amount to the second, but really, I still didn't stand much of a chance. It was time to go back to grinding. At level 22, I came back to take her on again, and I managed to take out both her Geodudes with 22 HP left. Her Nosepass, for some reason, just kept spamming Harden, while I just kept spamming Sand Attack, till I was eventually able to knock her out with a couple Embers and defeat Roxanne, earning me the first gym badge. After this, I find another Team Aqua Grunt up to no good. So I go over, stop him, I save an old man's Wingull, and I head back to find Mr. Stone looking for me. He wanted to talk to me and give me an item that he wants me to deliver to Steven somewhere in Dewford. So I start heading down towards Petalburg before I get stopped by my rival May for the second battle. This battle took me 2 attempts overall, because the first one I wasn't really paying attention to her Torkoal, who was able to set up on me. Eventually though, I managed to take out both her Pokemon pretty easily, thanks to her Mudkip using only Bide, and I was able to continue my journey. We then talked to the old man whose Wingull, Pico, we saved, who then gave us a ride to Dewford. When there, we traveled through the dark caves to find Steven at the end. During the process though, we find an Everstone, which will make my life 10 times easier. We eventually find Steven, we give him the package, and head out and take on the second gym leader, Brawly. I almost could have beat Brawly in my first try if his Makuhita didn't have a citrus berry to heal him out of my damage range. But because of this berry, I lost my first attempt, but came back and I was able to sweep his Machoke and Meditite before he sent out his ace. I was able to spam Peck 3 times to eventually take out Brawly and earn our second gym badge. The old man takes us to Slateport now, where we find Archie and Team Aqua causing a ruckus. So we decide to help the museum and send them on their way packing home. Archie's minions, even with all water type Pokemon, still were no match for my little Torchic, which I then noticed didn't actually have a name. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below what you think I should have called them during this run. I then continued my journey to the 3rd gym before getting stopped by my rival, May, once again. This time she was a much scarier opponent, and I had been dreading this moment since starting. She had, luckily for us, gotten rid of her Torkoal for some reason, and replaced it for a Slugma, which is a much easier opponent for me to take out quickly, along with her new Lombre. The problem child of their team was her Marshtomp. Marshtomp had not only 1, but 2 super effective moves against us, and both those moves were easily able to do about half of our HP every single turn. I had to come up with a plan to stop her. First, I tried Brute Force to no avail, then I eventually tried using an annoying strategy of spamming Sand Attacks, which also didn't work. Eventually though, I got some very good luck, and I got a Burn, which halved her attack stat, allowing me to live a Mud Shot, and take her out and continue on to face the 3rd gym leader, Watson. When we got to the 3rd gym, Wally thinks it was a good idea for us to battle, but I just demolished her faults with 1 move and take on my first attempt at Watson. Attempted this fight a few times, and my main problem was the sheer number of Pokemon that could all paralyze me. Getting paralyzed essentially meant that I would not be able to win, since it halved my speed stat, making me always pretty much go second. After leveling up a bunch, and in the process learning Slash, I was able to eventually take out Watson thanks to his main neck trick, deciding to use multiple howls on my Torchic, and that my Torchic was able to hold on for us at 3 HP to earn us the 3rd gym badge, just barely. We get the HM for Rock Smash, and make our way towards our next gym. First, we find Team Magma up to no good on the top of Mount Chimney. We find Maxie up at the top, and he wants to take us on. He has a Mighty Anna that he sends out first with Intimidate, which halves my physical attack, so Ember was the only move that I could essentially do to do any damage to him. The problem with that is that I couldn't swap out to get rid of the effect, and his next Pokemon was a Camera. This Camera up is part ground, part fire, so my Embers really didn't do much damage to him. On top of that, it also had a ground type move called Magnitude, which could almost always one-shot me with a little bit of luck. Eventually though, I decided to just bite the bullet and use a half damage dig, while he luckily only used Tackle for some reason, to be able to take him down and send Team Magma into retreat. I then traveled down the mountain and into Lava Ridge Town to take on the 4th gym leader, Flannery. This fight wasn't the hardest for me, even though it did take me a couple of attempts. From the last fight against Maxie, I learned how to deal with a Camera Up. Thankfully, on top of that, her Camera Up and Torkoal only use the track, so it made the fight a lot easier for me. I was able to use my newly learned move Flamethrower that I just recently got before getting into this gym on most of her team, and eventually take her out and obtain the 4th gym badge. There isn't anything else going on after Flannery, so I just traveled back to Petalburg this time to actually take on my father and the 5th gym leader, Norman. This battle only took me 1 attempt, somehow, which I actually started at with a total of 61 out of 112 possible total health for some reason. Even with this monumental handicap, I was able to spam flamethrowers on his first 3 Pokemon and take them down with no damage taken before he sent out his Slacking. His Slacking put me to sleep, and hit me with a big damaging facade to put me to 7 HP. Luckily for me, my little Torchic woke up on the first turn and took him out, beating my father and giving me the 5th gym badge. After I get Surf and travel through the land and seas, I stumble across Team Aqua once again, causing problems at the Weather Institution this time. I pretty easily take them down in quick fashion to save the researchers. As a thank you for saving them, they decided to give me a free cast form, which instantly went in the trash. Don't tell them I trashed their gifts, I'll feel bad. After this fiasco, I started to get ready to take on the 6th gym leader, Winona. First, before I do that, my rival May decided that she wanted to test me, once again, in a battle where I easily defeat her Lombre and Slugma, but I was very worried about her starter. Luckily, it was only level 31, so it hasn't fully evolved into a Swampert yet, but even as a Marshtomp, it could still be a threat. I had to make sure she didn't heal, so I chipped away at her till I got her into one-hit range with a dig to take her out and actually take on Winona this time. Once again, I'm getting blocked from taking on the 6th gym leader because there's something blocking the entrance to the gym. So I talked to Steven on the bridge, who shows me that Kecleons are blending in and hiding right in plain sight, blocking our way. He taught me how to spot them, and I kick him out and head in to actually take on the 6th gym leader this time. Going into this, I thought it was going to be pretty much an easy fight for me, knowing that she had a Skarmory and Tropius that I'd be able to just one-hit with my flamethrower. The Pokemon I didn't realize that she had was a Pelipper. This was going to be a problem, alongside her ace, Altaria of course. I took this gym on a couple times, where each time I easily one-shot her Swablu, and this time I actually managed to crit one-shot her Pelipper and go into her Altaria at full HP. Her Altaria didn't take very much damage from me, and was setting up Dragon Dances. If not taken out quickly, I would have been done for. Luckily for me, I managed to hit a burn on it to half her attack, so her next Earthquake did barely any damage to take out her Altaria. From there, like I said earlier, I one-shot her other 2 Pokemon, Tropius and Skarmory, defeating Winona and giving us a 6th gym badge. After defeating Winona, we headed over to Lily Cove and found out that Team Aqua are trying to steal the orbs from the top of Mount Pyre, so we go and try and stop them, before they end up getting away with the red orb and Team Magma getting away with the blue orb. We then go back to Mount Chimney and find a secret tunnel leading to a Team Magma hidden base. We travel through the base and find that Maxie has tried to capture Groudon but used the wrong color orb and accidentally set him free. He then blames me and battles me out of anger. As sadly as it is to say, I just couldn't take him out at my current level, 53, with his camera up, able to just so easily take me out. So I decided to slowly level up and see when I could eventually take him out. I tried every 3 levels, at 56, then 59, till I eventually hit 62. At this point, I got a couple good flamethrowers in, and lived an Earthquake to be able to defeat Maxie, making him flee. After this, I headed back to the Lily Cove Team Aqua hideout I found. In the hideout, we ended up finding Archie in a submarine he just stole from Slateport. We defeat his little grunts with ease, and he then retreats out of the hideout. While in the hideout though, I was able to find a random Master Ball on the ground, next to a nugget and some electrodes, which I yoinked of course. You'll probably see why I needed this a little later. The Whalmer blocking the path to Moss Deep all flee, so we head over there to take on the 7th gym leaders, Tate and Liza. This is one of the hardest battles for me in the whole game, since it's a double battle. I did end up just using the weakest Pokemon, my Azumarill, and only used the move Rock Smash, which literally did no damage to them. This was used as my filler Pokemon until he eventually got taken out, and I really only actually used my starter Torchic to attack. I attempted this more times than I would like to admit because of the Claydol using Earthquake. I literally couldn't do anything, and I kept trying to level up and see when I was going to be able to take it out, and that took me 15 whole levels, from level 63 to 78. Just to have a shot against them. I ended up taking out his Claydol now in one shot, do a good chunk of damage to Xatu till he healed it. I then went on and one-shot the Solrock, and now they're left with just 2 Pokemon. I'm now able to one-shot her Xatu, and do the same to Lunatone, to eventually, after many attempts, defeat Tate and Liza and earn our 7th gym badge. After leaving the gym, I noticed Team Magma attacking the Space Center, and go to stop them. Inside I found Steven, who I team up with to stop Team Magma. This fight was a little scary since it was a double battle against 2 Camerups, and a Mightyena, which would intimidate me. But at this point, I'm such a high level because of the last gym that I can carry with a few digs and flamethrowers, taking down Maxie and Team Magma once again. Steven then gives me the HM for Dive as a thank you gift, and I use it to chase after Team Aqua in the depths of the ocean. I eventually find an underwater cave that Team Aqua are taking over, and at the bottom, Archie is trying to use the red orb to capture Kyogre. He tries to get rid of me by beating me in a battle, but his team was no match for my little Torchic. Even though he had a water-type Pokemon, I was still able to just spam flamethrowers since I had about a 30 level lead on him, and made quick work of his Mightyena, Crobat, and Sharpedo. Archie still tries to use the orb on Kyogre, and it failed, and Kyogre fled. Archie and Maxie finally come together and see what damage they've caused by releasing these 2 legendary monsters. When we thought all hope was lost and the Hoenn region was doomed, that's when I found Wallace, the champion of the Hoenn region. He tells me about a way to stop it. A 3rd legendary monster. I will stop all this on Sky Pillar. I travel there and up to the top and find Rayquaza. I wake him and he realizes what's happening and he puts a stop to it once for all. After saving the world, we continue our journey to take on the 8th and final gym leader, Juan. He is all water type Pokemon, so as you could guess, this wasn't going to be easy. His love disc, of course, was never a problem for me, and after some tries, I was able to take out his Celio and Walrein till he threw out one of my favorite Pokemon ever, Wishcash. I got pretty lucky that Wishcash liked me as much as I liked him and didn't want to hurt me, so I could take him out. He then sends out a Crawdaunt, who also doesn't attack me, but does lower my defense, which could be a problem when I go against his ace, Kingdra. This Kingdra is nowhere near as scary as Claire's Kingdra from Johto, but when you only have one fire type, it's definitely still scary. I somehow managed to get the best luck of my life with a crit flamethrower, into it using a stat changing move, into me hitting another crit flamethrower to come out on top and win our 8th gym badge. Also, can someone do me a favor in the comment section below? If you know the math on what the odds were of that, please leave a comment down below, because that was absolute ridiculous luck, and I need to know if I need to play the lottery. Now, being able to use the HM for Waterfall, we travel east to find Victory Road. Before I had a chance to make it very far into Victory Road, Wally stopped me for one final battle. This time, instead of just one Mon, he came prepared with a full squad. This team was definitely going to be much more challenging than his last team of just one level 16 Ralts. I went into the fight not expecting the easiest or the hardest fight. His first Pokemon, Altaria, I was a little worried about since he had Dragon Dance and it tried to set up on me, but easily I was able to take him out and move on to his next Pokemon. He then set out a Delcatty, which I one-shot, then his Magneton, which was even easier to one-shot than the Delcatty was, then into his Roselia, who I once again just one-shot. His last Pokemon, his ace, and most down bad Pokemon fans' favorite Pokemon, Gardevoir, who I easily one-shot to defeat Wally for the last time. Before we continue any further into the Elite Four, I decided that I should go get the box legendary Rayquaza. So I went back up Sky Pillar and tried to test my luck after having all that good luck in the 8th gym, where I tried to throw a couple random balls at a full HP Rayquaza to no avail before I eventually Master Balled him, just to put him in the PC. Why not? Okay, now it's actually time to take on the Elite Four. First up, Sydney. Sydney, the Dark type trainer, was an absolute pushover for me. I literally one-shot his whole team. Mighty Anna, Flamethrower. Absol, Flamethrower. Crawdaunt, he took 3 total Flamethrowers only because he healed, which I would definitely never stoop that low. Definitely not foreshadowing right now. He then sent out his Shiftry, Flamethrowered. His final Pokemon, Cacturne, also easily got one-shot Flamethrowered. Defeating all 5 of his Pokemon allowed me to move on to the second Elite Four member. Next up is Phoebe, the Ghost-type trainer. She managed to be even more of a pushover than Sydney was. Her Dusclops 1, Flamethrower. Dusclops 2, Flamethrower. Bayonet 1, Flamethrower. Sableye, Flamethrower. And finally, her last Pokemon was her second Bayonet. Believe it or not, I just one-shot Flamethrower it, defeating Phoebe, and moving on to the third Elite Four member. These last 2 Elite Four members were so easy. How hard could this one be? Let's see who's next. Oh, it's Glacia, the Ice-type Elite Four member. That should be even easier for us, since our overpowered Flamethrower should be super effective. Well, she has 3 total Water-type Pokemon. This is not going to be fun. I tried to take her on a few times, with no luck, because of the Celios and Walrein being able to take my moves, since they're part Water-type. I tried again and again. After gaining 5 levels, I 2-shot her first Celio, then onto her Walrein, which I crit Flamethrower and easily take out with a second one after losing a lot of my HP. I was getting a little bit worried though, since the first Celio set up Hail, so I'd be taking damage after each turn for the rest of the battle. I then was able to one-shot her next Pokemon, the Glalie, then she sends out her second Celio. Luckily it set up Hail again, instead of using almost any other attacking move to take me out, so I can just 2-shot Flamethrower it for her to send out her last Pokemon, a second Glalie. I was super low at 25 HP, and any attack would knock me out at this point. But I was able to do enough with a Flamethrower to take it out and defeat the third Elite Four member. The fourth Elite Four member, Drake, was a big problem for us, just because we didn't have any ice moves or any other moves that could do super effective damage to his team of super strong Dragon-type Pokemon. I tried and tried to see if I could figure something out, to no avail. His Salamence was a real problem right away. I could make it to him, but never past him. I decided to level up, and eventually had a chance once I went from level 86 to 94. When here, I did a ton of damage to his Shelgon before he swapped into his Kingdra, who I could easily do some damage to, and it didn't even hit me. He then stupidly swapped his Shelgon right into his Doom, before he sent out his Flagon. I was a little worried about Flagon because it has Earthquake, but I was able to take the Earthquake and 2-shot him with Flamethrowers. After that, he sends out his scariest Pokemon, Salamence. I go for a Flamethrower, and by the luck of Arceus, I managed to burn him, lowering his attack by half. Thanks to this, I could live a Rock Slide and take him out with a second Flamethrower. He then goes into Altaria, who managed to hit me with a move that takes me down to 14 HP before I take it out, defeating the fourth and final Elite Four member. Now it's time for the former 8th gym leader turned champion, Wallace. Wallace, unordinarily for a champion, has a team consisting of all Water-type Pokemon. This was actually the main reason I didn't even think this run was going to be possible. Anyways, I kept moving forwards. On my first attempt, I was able to take out his Wailord and Ludicolo before getting knocked out by his Tentacruel. I was at a point where I couldn't make it farther than the Tentacruel, so I decided to boost myself all the way up to level 100 and try again, to no avail. The same problems were there, that I could only take out his first 3 Pokemon before fainting. I searched across the web and couldn't find anything that could help me. My EVs were already set, and I couldn't change them. I think I may have been able to use Hidden Power, and if it was Grass or Electric type, I may have had a small chance, but it's too late for that now, and I think there's still a good chance I might not have even been able to do it. So I decided to channel my inner angry 8-year-old who can't beat a battle and use potions. I know that I said this in the rules that I wasn't allowed to, but I honestly don't think it would have ever been possible for me to beat it without it. Maybe if I had a perfect nature, perfect IVs, perfect EVs Torchic, I might have had a small chance, but at this point I still don't even know if that would have been possible. So I took out his first 3 members like I have been. He sends in his Wish Cache, which I take out before dropping to 58 HP. I decide to then use potions when he takes out his Gyarados. I do some good damage to it while it sets up Dragon Dances. I was in a bad spot, but I got a lucky burn once again to allow me to take it out. At 58 HP again comes his final Pokemon, Milotic. This Pokemon knew Surf, which did about half my HP every single hit. I had to attempt this so many times and heal on cooldown. Eventually though, I would be able to get some chances to hit it, especially whenever it used Ice Beam. I finally got to use a move and hit it with a slash and managed to get a lucky crit, allowing me to take down Milotic and defeat Wallace and become the champion of the Hoenn region with only 1 Torchic. Well, I guess that answers the question, if you could beat Pokemon Emerald with just 1 Torchic. I apologize once again that I had to cheat a little bit, but I think that was the only way I was going to be able to get this done. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed and made it this far, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any challenge runs you want to see me attempt. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Peace.